What if a police chase left an elderly man broken? What if they refused to admit their fault? In Nevada, 84-year-old Walter Hayes faced a painful loss, but his community gave him hope. Stay tuned for a story of cherished memories, betrayal, and a touching act of renewal. In the arid suburb of Silver Sands, Nevada, the desert stretched endlessly beyond the streets. The scent of sagebrush lingered in the air. Here, Walter Hayes had lived for over 5 decades. He was an 84-year-old widower with a quiet strength. Walter had bought his $240,000 stucco home with his late wife in 1970. It was a refuge filled with memories. On the warm morning of October 5th, 2028, Walter sat in his workshop. He carved a small wooden bird with careful hands. Woodworking was his way of honoring his daughter, Emily. She had passed away from leukemia at 15 years ago. Walter made wooden birds, Emily's favorite, to feel her close. "This one's for you, sweetheart," he whispered. His voice was soft. The sound of a distant hawk echoed in the sky. Silver Sands was a calm neighborhood, but that morning, chaos erupted. A police chase tore through the streets. They were pursuing a con artist who had scammed locals. Sirens wailed loudly. Tires screeched on the pavement. Walter stepped outside, curious. His hand still held the wooden bird. The chase moved toward the community square. A crowd gathered, shouting and running. The police shouted orders, chasing the suspect on foot. The crowd surged in panic. Walter was caught in the chaos. Someone bumped into him hard. He stumbled and fell to the ground. His wrist snapped as he tried to break his fall. Pain shot through his arm. He cried out, clutching his wrist. The officers caught the suspect nearby. The lead officer, 38-year-old Eric Lawson, saw Walter on the ground. "Sir, are you hurt?" he asked. His voice was tense. Walter's voice trembled. "My wrist. I can't move it." He gasped. His face was pale. The wooden bird lay beside him, cracked. "I can't carve for Emily anymore," he whispered. Tears welled in his eyes. Lawson called for an ambulance. The static crackled on his radio. "We've got a civilian down. Send help," he said. His tone was rushed. Neighbors gathered around Walter. They gasped at the sight of his swollen wrist. Some knelt beside him. His breathing was ragged. The pain was unbearable. The ambulance arrived quickly. Paramedics lifted Walter onto a stretcher. His wrist was swollen and bruised. "It's a fracture," one paramedic said. His voice was calm. Walter's thoughts were on Emily. "I can't make your birds now," he whispered. His voice broke. He was taken to the hospital. The cracked wooden bird lay abandoned on the pavement. At the hospital, Walter lay in a sterile room. His wrist was in a cast and he needed surgery. The pain was dulled, but his heart ached more. Woodworking was how he kept Emily's memory alive. He'd carve birds and imagine her laughter. "She loved watching me work," he whispered to himself. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Now his hands were useless. The beeping of the hospital monitor echoed his sorrow. Back in Silver Sands, the Homeowners Association took action. The HOA president, 46-year-old Diane Foster, had known Walter for years. Diane's children loved Walter's wooden birds. A neighbor's security camera had captured the incident. The footage showed the chaotic crowd caused by the police chase. It showed Walter being pushed and falling. But Officer Lawson denied responsibility. "He fell on his own," he claimed. His voice was cold. "We didn't cause his injury." Diane's heart broke for Walter. She held the camera footage tightly. "He's suffered enough," she said to the HOA board. Her voice was firm. "We need to help him." The board agreed to fight for Walter. They hired a lawyer to sue the police department. The rustle of legal documents filled their meeting room. Walter's pain became their mission. The community would stand by him. The trial took place in a local courthouse. Residents packed the gallery. Their footsteps echoed on the tile floor. Walter sat in a wheelchair, his wrist in a cast. His eyes were tired but determined. The lawyer played the camera footage. The video filled the screen. It showed the crowd's chaos during the chase. It showed Walter's painful fall. Gasps filled the courtroom. The evidence was clear. Officer Lawson took the stand. He shifted nervously. "I didn't see him fall." He lied. His voice wavered. The judge's gaze was sharp. "The footage contradicts your statement," she said. Her tone was stern. The lawyer pressed further. "Your chase caused the crowd. Didn't you consider the risk?" he asked. Lawson hesitated. I was focused on the suspect," he said. The courtroom buzzed with disbelief. Walter spoke next. His voice trembled as he gripped the wheelchair. "I carved birds to feel my Emily," he said. Tears streamed down his face. "She'd watch me. Her smile lit up my world." He held up a photo of Emily, laughing with a wooden bird in her hands. "Now I can't carve. I've lost her again." The courtroom fell silent. Jurors dabbed their eyes. Diane squeezed Walter's shoulder. The judge delivered her verdict. Her gavel slammed down with a resounding thud. "Officer Lawson, you are guilty of reckless endangerment," she declared. Her voice boomed. "You caused harm and lied about it." Lawson was forced to admit his guilt. He was fired from the police force. The department was ordered to pay Walter $6,500 in damages. The courtroom erupted in cheers. Walter's neighbors clapped for him. Walter returned home after weeks in the hospital. His wrist was healing, but he couldn't carve. He sat in his workshop, staring at his tools. The pain of losing Emily felt fresh again. Diane and the HOA had a surprise for him. A group of neighbors gathered in his workshop. "We want you to keep carving," Diane said. Her voice was warm. They presented him with a new set of woodworking tools. The neighbors had chosen the tools with care. They were lightweight, perfect for Walter's healing hands. They also made a small wooden plaque for his workshop. It read, "Emily's Birds," in delicate script. "So she's always with you," Diane said. Her voice was kind. Walter ran his fingers over the plaque. "Thank you for giving her back to me," he whispered. Tears of gratitude filled his eyes. Walter started carving again, slowly at first. His wrist ached, but his heart was lighter. He made a new wooden bird, just like the ones Emily loved. "This is for you, sweetheart," he said. His voice was soft. The community had given him more than tools. They had given him purpose. Silver Sands became a symbol of healing and justice. Walter smiled at the bird. The warmth of his neighbors mended his heart. And so, a chaotic chase became a battle for justice in Silver Sands, Nevada. Walter Hayes found renewal through his community's love. How would you help someone reclaim their passion? What do you think? Should communities support healing? Share your thoughts. Join us next time for another tale of justice. Until then, keep standing up for what's right. Thank you for listening.